Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I'm speaking with Davey Harris. He has just shared his second single titled Self Saboteur, and I am super excited to talk to him all about it. Davey, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your life to do this. What is up, and how are you?
Austin, thank you so much for having me. I
You
am
are
doing
very welcome.
fine and dandy. Yeah, really happy to talk.
Probably freezing if you're in Buffalo, is my
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, it's a little. I'm a little bit below freezing right now.
That's all right. Nothing
I'm
like 10
cool
blankets
as
can't
ice.
figure
Yeah,
out. I want to hop right into it. This song is killer, man. And considering it's your second single, that I'm even more impressed because you've already found a sound that I wouldn't want to see go anywhere else, to be
Mhm.
honest. First thing I really want to know about is what is the song about? What does it mean to you? What's it, give me the background.
Yeah. Thank you. So it's interesting because a lot of the song was written in a kind of subconscious trance. I did a thing actually called Songtober. It was a previous October where every day of the month I wrote a new song. And I was kind of doing this
How the
pen
hell?
pal thing with a friend, and we were just writing different songs, and that was really cool. And so this was one day, right? Just having a riff and then having some words, and that seems to be how I write a lot of songs where
Yeah.
it's just like a bunch of ideas kind of coming together, and then once I put the theme on it, right, that's kind of the container.
Yeah.
And then I can flesh things out. And then I get to do like the surgery to make it make sense to me and have meaning. And so that was a song where looking back on it, I was like, what am I talking about? What am I trying to say? You're because it's almost like the subconscious bubbling up. And then
Yeah.
then the theme was like, oh shit, this is all about self-sabotage. And I sometimes think in metaphors, and it,
Mhm.
and it just became, like there's, I mean, the whole that concept of like having a hand grenade in your pocket, and it's
Sure.
this idea of, for most of us, like we have like kind of this upper limit of what we can handle that's either good or bad or whatever. And so sometimes once we reach a little bit above that, we panic, or I panic. Like I have moments where that's happened. And so I've definitely like had things implode in my face
Of course. Who
in
hasn't?
in life. But yeah, so the song was written on guitar, and then I had worked with this guy Rush Davis, who is, I'd say he's like a sound helper and voice whisperer, so to speak. And so he was
Okay.
kind of helping and giving me both courage, confidence, and then perspective for these songs. And I like this little claim to fame, but the drums, I played the drums. I played the drums in this band, the Tins.
Damn.
But actually in this song, I didn't play the drums. This was the one song I didn't play the
The
drums.
one song.
Who did play the drums though? This dude who he will remain nameless, but he played for Michael Jackson and Stevie Wonder, and so it's
Damn.
like got some epic drums on the track. I was very fortunate to kind of
That's
have
wild.
this. Yeah,
So how long did this take in total to put together?
I feel like the first 75% of a song is give me 5 minutes and I'll write you
Really?
a beautiful 3/4 of the way finished song. And then the last quarter, that last 25% can take a month, it can take a year, it can take
Sure.
5 years. Like
That's the
there's
artist perfectionism coming through where it's like, oh, this is pretty good, but it could be a lot better. So let's really focus in.
Well, and what's wild is like that last 5% could be one other instrument that you add to the arrangement that makes it a
True.
different song, that makes it go from here to here.
Right.
S-
No, I fully get that because there's so many songs. I mean, a majority of songs that are right here. And if they just had that little bump, they could be up here. And I think that's where that extra 25% comes. Honestly, though, I can't really get over your song a day thing. That sounds grueling and daunting. But the fact that this came from it is like impressive to say the least. Uh I usually ask, what else is on the horizon? Is there anything else from that songwriting month that's gonna pop up in like an official recording? Or can you say?
I can say,
Okay.
uh, well, what I will say is that I have 37 recordings right now of songs, and
Well,
it's more
damn.
about how to release things the right way, whatever that looks like. Because
Sure.
that's, it's almost like if you have a strength, then you want to lean into it. And I think my biggest strength is just writing songs quickly.
Uh-huh.
And so now it's a matter of figuring things out, because I don't know, it's like you just drop 37 songs that no one cares. It's like a little, and so
Yeah. Oh, that's
trying to
nowadays.
yeah, so it's just trying to like the slow. I am attempting to have a strategy with
Yeah,
each of the songs, and also to make it make sense from a narrative, because
sure.
it's almost like you write the song, right? You're 75% there, but it's not finished. You get to that 100% or 95%, and it all makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with like a release. Like I may look back 2 years from now, and then be like, oh, now it actually makes sense, the way in which things are released or how things are being cultivated. So all I can say is yes, there's going to be another song within the next 2-ish months,
I hope
and I
so.
think it's gonna be great. And it's there's and I'm looking to find a way to consistently release music,
Sure.
and I'm like that squirrel that just collects nuts, like collects acorns for the winter.
Yeah,
But then someone's like, the other squirrel's next, like, hey dude, you don't need any more. You already have enough for 3 winters
right.
right now. And then I'm like, nope, gotta get some more. And
Gotta
so
get
like
some
I
more.
can't wait to write more songs. And
You got to start ghostwriting for everyone else if it's coming that easy to you. I mean, shoot, because everything about this song, like, it flows so nicely, and obviously the I don't know, it's tough because for me, like I said, I've listened to the song a lot at this point, and I can listen to it in 2 different ways. I can listen to it as a songwriter and really, like, make the connections within the lyrics, or I can completely disregard the message and just vibe out to, like, the sonic nature of it. And I think that's kind of, in my opinion, the key to a good song is it's not one and done. It's not just like, yeah, I heard that on the radio once and it was the same chorus and verse over and over, and then I'm going to throw it in the trash. This one actually has legs to it where it's built for repeated listens, whichever way you want to listen to it. I don't know if that was your intention, but it certainly sat that way with me.
I mean, I guess all I could share about that, which is this is what when I okay, so the song "Float On," you know that song by Modest Mouse.
Yeah, of course. Classic.
So I heard that song, and I was like, wow, this is a great song. Why is this a great song? Because it's freaking weird.
Sure. For
And
the
you have,
time. Yeah.
yeah, like you'd hear that when it came out, right? And then you're like, this is different than anything else I've heard. It's not like, I mean, is it groundbreaking? I don't know, but it's good. It's got a powerful message.
Yep.
It's interesting. It's catchy as heck.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And and so it's that thing where like it breaks through the like mainstream of anybody could listen to this.
Hmm.
The people that would love it, it's a certain audience, but like most people can like it a lot and get into it and dance to it. And so I've looked at that song as though I'm like, every time I try to write a song, or I do write a song, I'm thinking of not Float On per se, but like what that represents to me, which is like checking off all these boxes, which is repeated listens. It's interesting. It's doing something different in some way. It's idiosyncratic, and then it's catchy. So that's my little like biblical songwriting thing.
I'm really happy you just mentioned that. I never made the realization, but it does kind of hit all the same boxes. I haven't listened to that song in a while, but it's instantly memorable. It's instantly something that I can play in my head, and it's probably what I'm going to listen to as soon as I finish this. So
Yeah,
thank you for that.
you're
Um,
welcome.
going forward though, even just in terms of sound, do you write songs based on what you want to hear in the instrumentation, or does that kind like I guess what I'm trying to say is, does the instrumentation have any effect on the tone and the message of what you're trying to say?
Yes. It also depends on the song, right? There's certain
Sure.
songs where the sounds and like Self Saboteur was a very deliberate effort, especially with Rush and then with Aiden, who supported Rush, they would work together with me.
Yeah.
Uh, where every step of the way it's like sharing its message, and like you could even there's intensity, right? Like even in the drumming as well.
Yeah.
There's it's like things get chaotic and then calm down and then get chaotic again. but then there's this space of like kind of at the end, like, oh, triumph, you know.
Right.
And so the sound is along with the lyrics is meant to tell that story. And then there are other songs where that they're even more deliberate in how the sound tells a story. And sometimes if the sound affects the story too much, it becomes cheesy. It's literally like watching a horror movie, but you hear the music, the scary music before, and then you know what's happening.
Right.
It's not like an interpretive thing. Like some of the best songs are ones where there's more space for interpretation. So there are other songs coming that are less, let's say, intentional as far as all of the sounds, and it's more like this is an artistic piece. But yeah, Self Saboteur was one of those very deliberate pieces of music.
Nice. So how about this? You have clearly been doing this for a little while now. Is there something that you look forward to throughout the entire process, from the dreaming up what you're going to write about to the actually getting in the studio and creating the song, all the way to pressing the submit button? What do you get the most excited for?
My favorite part of the entire process is when I'm playing on the guitar or something
Hmm.
and I hear a hook,
Okay.
because that's kind of the point of no return, where if I hear that, to me, I'm like, this is worthy of moving forwards with. There's something of substance here.
Okay.
And so like, because it's not like every time you have a guitar in hand or a keyboard or piano or whatever else, you're like, this is it. uh but within the writing, if I spend like a half hour, an hour, and I'm just playing different chords and thinking about different things, like I'll stumble upon something, and then it's just like the light bulb moment over my head.
Yep.
And that's definitely like me at getting the most high off of music,
Totally.
is where it's like a hit of like, holy, that's a new, it's like 0 to 1. So
Yeah.
that's my favorite piece. And then the other is sometimes in the studio when you think you've hit like the best you can do with the song based on different arrangements and pieces and instrumentation, and then you're like, let me try this other thing. And then it, like, again, it's that going from 90% to 95%. You're like, well, holy, this song is way better now. It's like it's the glue together. So that would be kind of that second moment where it really is super satisfying.
That's awesome. But it's like you want that all the time. You constantly want to be in the studio, you constantly want to be creating. Do you ever feel like you get burned out, or that you're like hitting a roadblock of some sort?
Well, as the story goes, so I was the drummer in this band, the Tins.
Sure.
I was also songwriter, but drummer in this band, the Tins, for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
The pandemic, God bless her soul, uh, led to, like, us kind of having this hiatus, which
Absolutely.
really gave space for stepping into this other part of myself that I'm really actually in love with embracing. And I kind of share that I am a recovering self-hating musician, because there were certain times within the musical
Sure.
journey where things, sucked, weren't easy, and so
Yeah.
when you're mentioning like being burnt out or drained or all those things, or feeling like you're not getting to the thing and it's frustrating, like I've had those experiences many times over. And now as an artist, I'm kind of like committing and like to embracing this art side fully. And so like it's fun. I don't have the same expectations and pressure as I did, like 10 years ago. And I also think that I'm like creating the best works of my life
That's
because there's no
awesome.
longer like that pressure. And it's just like in the past month, I'd say there were a few times where things aren't fun. And even in the release of a
Sure.
song, there's like the strategy and logistics and all the other pieces of like,
Totally.
which is also a necessity. I like, my thought is just like,
It
it's all
is.
about preparing to get lucky in a way. And I'm like, well, what does that preparation look like? And so there are certain parts of that are not necessarily the most enjoyable. Those are maybe more of the draining things for myself.
Sure.
But like the songwriting, I'm really like keeping that pure. That is the most beautiful kernel. And so at least for now, things are, it's like I'm having fun.
I love that. It's like you wanna border the line of having fun, you're living the life writing songs, and like, this is also kind of a business and I don't want to take this too seriously. But I don't think, I mean, a majority of music listeners don't realize the business side of music, where it's like you don't just make a song and put it out and cross your fingers and hope. Like there's a whole background on it. But there is definitely a fine line of still having fun with it and not overdoing it, but also just like living your life, doing what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Um, it's crazy that we're in the middle of March and it still feels like the beginning of the year. So I'm still considering it the beginning. I want to know, what are some goals that you'd like to hit by the end of 2022?
That's a great question. Well, I will be heading to South by Southwest next week,
Nice.
and my goal there is to play at least one show, which I think I
Okay.
will be playing.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
There's infinite venues. I think you can make it happen.
Yeah, I'd like to release at least 5 songs, if not more, by the end of 2022.
Sure.
And we're in the process of creating music videos along with each song.
That's
And
cool.
so I'd like to have those accompanying pieces. And I almost feel like this is kind of egotistical, but that's okay. I feel like it's kind of my obligation to get the music out there to the best of my ability.
Yeah.
Right. Because I don't think it's not like there's somebody else that should care more than me
You have to
about
be
that.
your number one fan,
Yeah.
especially as a solo artist. You don't have
Yeah.
the band where it's like, okay, you post this and I'll post this and then we'll post and post and post. It's like, no, man, it's like your destiny is in your hands. If you're not backed by a major label throwing thousands of dollars at you, it's like, this is it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's very exciting, is
Yeah.
just releasing the music and getting it out there. And then the goal that's in my hands is just to get it in front of as many people as possible. And I like looking for creative ways to make that so.
I think it's a great answer. I've got one more question for you at this point. Basically, the question is for the person that's going to discover you from this, and for the person that's going to listen to your music for the first time, what is an opening message that you'd like to say to them?
Thank you for lending your ears, kind person. And I request that you listen at least 3 times so that the music gets stuck in your head, so that you never forget forever, and you're a fan for life.
I say listen 3 times regardless, but there's no doubt it'll be stuck in your head on the first run through. It's just that good.
Right?
Davey, I want to thank you so much for taking the time, man. And I want to plug your music one more time for you. The song is called Self Saboteur. And we'll have all the links so people can listen and follow along and share. But it is sincerely such a freaking awesome song. And like I said, I've listened 10 times. I'm gonna listen 10 more. I want to thank you so much for your time, man, and I hope that we can speak soon.
Amazing. Awesome. Thank you
Awesome,
so
dude.
much.
Have an awesome rest of your day and take care. Bye bye.
Bye.